Heather, why don't you introduce yourself, and I'm going to end this poll, and then we're going to get you the questions, and you can see what the audience is interested in knowing about from you. So.
Super. Thanks so much, Marty. Can you just raise your hand to make sure that you can hear me?
Yes, I can.
Okay. All right. All right. And I just launched my screen here to see if people can also see my slide deck.
Yep. And there's the poll results for you as well.
Okay. Lots of good questions. I really appreciate that. And actually, I come from a private equity background, so I've been fascinated listening to everybody today. And you know how there are different shades of finance. There's no way that we can all know it. So this is a really wonderful opportunity. I'm actually a co-founder of this business. I manage 3 closed-end funds in Central and Eastern Europe and the CIS, and kind of transformed myself. I never intended to spend my full time on Pharmajet, but I do. And I'm responsible for fundraising, good corporate governance, some of our business development, and looking after our shareholders. So I'm delighted to be able to tell you a little bit about our needle-free technology. So we're going to launch real fast, and then we'll come to the end. And certainly, if there's any key questions besides those that I think I can address regarding the poll, I'd be happy to do that. So Pharmajet is a needle-free focused immunization tool. It's a safe, fast, easy method of administration, kind of a simple push and click. Our devices are on the right-hand side. And the reason why we focus on vaccines is because sometimes we make them work better. Let's see, pages. There we go. So framing the vaccine market, it's prior to COVID, it was about a 2.5 billion annual immunization market. That's shot count, growing at 7% per year times the birth cohort of about 140 million children and the vaccines that they receive. By all measures, it's at least tripled. And I personally think that COVID is here to stay. I think it's going to be a little bit like your annual flu shot for a good number of years. But immunization generally is a standard of care, and we all now know that we share the disease burden, that it's global. And so a market growing in perpetuity with a number of diseases that have vaccine, lack of vaccine cures that are unmet. So well more than 100 novel developments prior to COVID, and now more than 140 of those underway. Needles are problems, and we have a needle-free solution that gets rid of those. Let me show you how it works, because that'll take away a few of the questions that you may have.
Pharmajet's an easy push and click needle-free injection with global regulatory and clinical claims for IM, sub-Q, and ID delivery. We eliminate needle stick, trash, and reuse. In field and sophisticated care venues, patients greatly prefer the experience, and training takes 20 minutes.
Using a needle to administer vaccines in a busy pharmacy can be a challenge. I've been stuck by a needle, and not only does it hurt, but then there's the process of follow-up and having to get tested and worrying about any health concerns. I load the syringe, I tell the patient they're going to hear a little click, and then it's over.
Pharmajet's delivery can enhance the immune response several-fold. For the polio eradication initiative, intradermal delivery can cut the dose by 60% while producing a superior immune response. We've also engineered out the waste, capturing more doses per vial, creating a positive ROI for each injection. Global acceptance of Pharmajet's needle-free technology as a standard of care for the 3 billion annual immunization market is our mission. With 28 collaborations across more than 40 injectables, we are looking for partners to help us make that a reality.
So that was then, and this is now. We're a good long ways ahead of when that video was made. And as you can see, I have longer hair now. But anyway, going back to our technology, everything that I tell you in this deck, with the exception of our financial forecasts, is a fact. It's been proven several times over. So our technology is 89 to 99% preferred, depends on what you're injecting, because some things sting. An easy push and click, anyone can do it in, frankly, any environment. It's 2 to 3 times faster than needles. And we see an observed additional amount of participation. So for herd immunity, that's a big deal. People are afraid of needles, and typically it's a good 10% will never take a needle injection, and 25% of adults and 66%. In terms of savings, we also plow back a positive ROI for every single injection. Needle cannulas have waste, they overfill the vials, we capture that overfill, and typically about 2 out of 10 dose vial, we'll get 12 doses. And then we clean up sharps. We don't have any sharps disposal costs. We have global acceptance across a variety of venues. We have a number of partners. They are not all on this list. But rule of thumb, more than 60 collaborations globally with large pharma, small pharma, academic, well-endowed institutions and NGOs. More than 60 clinical studies completed, including claims for us, more than 70 underway, and we have 136 distinct novel platforms, vaccines, infectious disease, cancer, autoimmune, being developed with Pharmajet's products. We have a lot of regulatory, in fact, registered in more than 42 countries with 50 more underway. Our device is a general clearance class 2 medical device. And then we also have some clinical claims. Lots of firsts and onlys. And based on our intramuscular, subcutaneous, and intradermal clearances, we are the only commercial state needle-free technology globally that is appropriate for vaccine delivery. And the reason is that vaccines are either intramuscular or intradermal, and the other technologies in the marketplace are subcutaneous clearances only. We have a layer cake of protection. So we have a number of patents, 47 of them issued. Not only are they on specific features, but also our system working together. We have a number of trade secrets to do what we do. That fast fluid injection is very difficult to do, but we make it look elegant. And then in terms of regulatory, not only would somebody have to repeat what we've done, but they would probably violate our IP in the process. So we estimate that we're 5 to 8 years ahead of anybody who wants to try. Essentially, we compete with needles. Let's move a little bit into kind of immunology. We discovered along the way that you can move from the muscle to the skin. And because the skin has antigen cells that are always eliciting immune responses, you can, rule of thumb, show that 80% less vaccine is the same in immune response. And in fact, we enjoy global clinical claims of 60% being superior in immune response, so 60% less. And needle injections into the skin are really hard and painful. And ours is a push and click, delivered in less than 1/10 of a second, faster than the nervous system can register a response. We also have a number of studies, and these are good examples of either full dose being non-inferior to needles. So for things like influenza, measles, mumps, rubella, there's 32 vaccine preventable diseases. But we've also been able to prove that fractional dose, intradermal delivery, again, about 80% less, is the same in immune response. And 1/3 of all vaccine preventable diseases would have needle data or our needle-free data demonstrating that. An HPV vaccine on the bottom left there, we've proven that twice, including with Merck as one of our partners in the most recent study. And we're pursuing that further this coming year with NIH and the country of Indonesia. And again, on polio, we're part of the Global Polio Eradication Initiative. Not only is 80% less the same, but actually 60% less is superior. This is an example of a nucleic acid vaccine. It's just simply visually easy for people to see. We have a number of different studies, and not all vaccines are the same, but we see a consistent, faster, longer, stronger immune response. That's why we've continued to focus on vaccines. We wouldn't see that if it were simple drug delivery. So the green line is Pharmajet. The bar of protective immunity is that 100% level. The needle group is in the blue lines. After the first injection, Pharmajet is boosted above that protective immunity level. The needles don't get there. After the second injection, we're again boosted. Pharmajet surpasses the protective immunity level. Needles don't get there. And then you have challenge to prove that the patient's been protected. We see this again, particularly in DNA and messenger RNA, which are now household names thanks to groups like Pfizer and Moderna. In terms of our business pillars, we're focused on really large channels with really large partners. So on the left-hand side for our intradermal platform, we've worked with the Center for Disease Control, Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation, WHO, over a number of years, and the studies and the claims are theirs. So we've